Next up, we've got, you're going to be on a panel a little bit, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes, we got
minutes, yeah.
Mike Painter.
Yeah.
He's a Senior Program Officer of the
everybody.
Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. You are a physician,
I am.
an attorney,
I am.
sounds like a lot of school, and a health policy advocate. What does health policy advocate mean to you?
That means that everything I do, everything my foundation does is about helping people in the United States build a better, healthier future. So we're Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Not everybody necessarily knows who we are, but we're the largest philanthropy in the world, basically focused on improving the health of the over 325 million people living in the US. So we do that by working with all those people in the United States, leaders, community leaders, whatever, wherever we can find them to help build that better, healthier future. And for us, that future means a time and a place where everyone would say, and the way we talk about it is, everyone would have a fair and just opportunity to live a healthy life.
So how do you pinpoint and decide where to put your money, where to put your resources?
Right, yeah, so that can be tricky. We have this expansive vision about that better, healthier future. We call it a culture of health. That's sort of our sort of term for that time and place. I want to underscore that health equity piece. It's not a better, healthier future for some people in some places, in some towns, in some cities. It's a better, healthier future for everyone. And so that's really ambitious. How would you go about doing that? And when you think about health, when you start to unravel that and think about what health really means, you realize how expansive that vision is. So you mentioned I'm a physician, I am, and I think doctors and nurses and health professionals and hospitals and clinics are super important. When you're sick, you need the best you can possibly get, and we've got some work to do in the US, obviously, to handle that. But living a healthy life entails so much more than that. As if you think about it, even for a little bit, you recognize it's where I work, my house, the food I eat, the neighborhood I live in, the air I breathe, the water I drink, all those things. And we're going to, I think, talk about the reason I'm here today, the climate change. The climate sort of undergirds all of that and supports it or not.
So regarding climate change, because it's an issue that finally people are starting to become aware of, and we're starting to see, I hope, a little bit of a tipping point right now. But where are the great ideas coming from? The ideas that are going to change things from 2019 and beyond?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'm certainly, I'm sitting here with a tremendous amount of humility. With myself, personally, I know for a fact that I haven't done enough personally to head off this calamity, this climate catastrophe, if you will. And our foundation is big, we're a learner, we're making the turn, but we don't have the answers yet either. No. So where are those answers going to come from? One thing in our learning journey so far is we know that there's no silver bullet to save the day, there's no one technological solution. This is a huge, big, hairy, complex problem. But honestly, building a healthy future is too. So they're kind of similar in that respect. And another thing that it's starting to occur to people is the things that it would take to build for that complex set of challenges to build that better, healthier future are in many ways very similar to the things that it would take to address major aspects of climate change. So we think that a lot of the solutions come from people, innovators, communities, people addressing, well, what do you care about? Is it a food issue? Is it an agriculture issue? Is it a water issue? Is it a energy transformation issue? Is it a disaster preparedness issue? All those innovations, all that change is coming from communities, and it's just a matter of sort of nurturing that wisdom and also people building on their own culture of vibrancy and sort of thinking about, well, how do we take something like this on and adapt and change our lives, not in a rigid way, but in a really flexible way as the climate's going through such major changes.
Well, we live in a time when the idea of climate change for most people is such a far off thing, right? How do you get people who are used to seeing films where asteroids are falling from the sky as like, that's the tipping point to them, even though by then we're far past it. And also in an era where there's been an erosion of trusts in the scientific and medical fields. How do you get people motivated now when they're saying, look, there's no problem, I kind of like that it's a little bit warmer out this time of year. Like, how do you get people concerned now and actively doing something? Or do you need to get everybody concerned? And do you just need to get a small number of people concerned?
I think that the very smart American public are onto it and getting. I think the polling is showing that people are making their turn. They're seeing it in their lives. The message, our message, so at this current point at the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation is climate change is real. It's happening. The issue is urgent. It impacts any vision of a healthy future. It's affecting us all right now. We see it in wildfire events. We see them.
I live in Southern California.
Yeah, exactly. So you know very well about that. So hurricanes, extreme weather events, and the Alaska around the Arctic. All those kinds of things are, and then sort of more subtle things about, well, it just didn't used to be that way here. We didn't used to see this here. Anybody who's lived in any place for any length of time knows that it's very different now than it was not that long ago. And so all those things, the damage to the water system, the air pollution, all those things are all related, and people are onto it. So it's true that we're going to take some leadership, and so we need that sort of thing. But I think when you go around and start talking to people in communities across the country, and we've started doing that at our foundation, and I know lots and lots and lots of other people are as well, people are really worried and concerned, but also sort of taking things on and energized.
Good. Well, you keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
It sounds like you're doing a lot
right.
more than you give yourself credit for.